Like many of his Major League Rugby colleagues, late NOLA Gold winger Shawn Riley spent part of the COVID offseason playing in the World 10 Series in Bermuda. He laced up for the Ohio Aviators, a team resurrected from Pro Rugby North America, the professional league that lasted just one season in 2016. Riley, like several of his NOLA teammates, got his professional start with the Aviators, and Bermuda served as a reunion of sorts. For the indomitable Riley, it was also an opportunity to show how much his game had improved.
In Bermuda, it was fantastic to kind of see him finally just play some really good footy.
Did fantastic. Chased down one of the fastest guys in world rugby.
Front, but now Norton, and Norton steps on the gas. Norton against Shawn Riley. Riley's getting after him. Norton going for the corner. He's decided to just stop.
He was fine. He was perfectly healthy. Played great. You could just see that he was enjoying himself. He was enjoying where he's at with his rugby career.
After the 10s came the holidays, and then Riley hunkered down in New Orleans to prepare for his third preseason with the Gold, determined to compete for a starting spot.
Worked hard, we did a lot of extras together, a lot of working out together, working on our kicking and passing, staying late and doing that. So he was actually a big Ohio State fan, and obviously I was an Alabama fan. So it was actually his 30th birthday and the night of the national championship game. We had a bet that night, and literally that morning, the morning that he had that, the accident, we exchanged money. I got money off him that morning, and we worked out together. And then that night, the news came down.
It was kind of confusing at first, because we trained on Tuesday. It was his 30th birthday, and then on Wednesday afternoon, we got a message a voice message saying Shawn's in critical condition.
On January 12th, 2021, Shawn Riley entered his third decade of life. In the early morning hours of January 13th, he suffered a cardiac episode caused by an enlarged heart that would land him in a coma.
You gotta be kidding me. This is the most, healthiest kid you'll ever see in your life. And, has to, revive him right there and go to the hospital and put him on a helicopter, go right to ICU. And then, 12 days of about 2 weeks right there worth of just kind of back and forth.
It was just hard to take in. I don't know, I just didn't want to accept what was happening. And obviously we didn't know to what extent it was at first.
And it was, your heart stops. And at the time we didn't know what was going to happen. You hope for the best, but, you realize the worst is coming. And so it was a weird, 2 or 3 week span. We got positive news, and he was getting better. So we prayed every night, and it was tough for sure.
His mom was down here, and she even came out to training, and just to embrace her.
With his mom being in town and just seeing her and just trying to imagine what she was going through was heartbreaking.
Her and her Shawn's 2 sisters came and joined in prayer with us. She was definitely definitely an emotional time for her, but she was definitely very thankful for us, as we were thankful for her raising such an amazing young man.
With COVID and everything, she was the only one up there in the room for a while until the last day. I was able to go up there as well to say goodbye to him. It was really tough, being up there and at Ochsner Hospital and just seeing him, and he was battling, and his mother's in there side by his side, and then obviously it took a turn for the worst, 2 weeks later, and we lost him.
On January 26th, at the age of 30, Shawn Riley died from a blood infection he incurred while hospitalized. General Manager Ryan Fitzgerald gathered his team after training and broke the news.
He's like, oh, everyone bring it in to a circle, and Fitzy isn't really an emotional guy, so as soon as he's like, oh, at the end of practice, everyone bring it in, and he takes a knee and throws his hat on the ground, you kind of knew what the news was.
From that point, that was an indicator that there's probably bad news coming. I immediately started bawling.
A few of us kind of broke down crying. And
looked around, everybody's in tears.
He wore 22 for us a couple times, so I had everybody get on the goal line, and we ran 122 and back one time for him and stuff. And whole team's running down and back crying. Most I've seen grown men cry at one time, besides since we did the 21 gun salute after Iraq.
Riley's rugby story began like it has for so many Americans, at the end of his football career. A 3-sport all-state athlete at Worcester High School in Northeast Ohio, Riley first strapped on a helmet for the Akron Zips before transferring 40 minutes up the interstate to Notre Dame College.
It was the spring of our first year, so we started in 2012. He was here playing football, but he met a couple of rugby guys, decided to, come out to a practice in the spring. I think he was taken in with the family feeling of rugby, that family feeling that everybody's your brother and you get on the play, and he had a strong sense of family. He was just a sponge. He was learning. He was yes sir, no sir. He was eager to learn, and he made a difference on the field. He was a natural. He had great field vision. He could do things special with the ball, and he won, I think, one of his first tournaments. He was MVP of the tournament. Actually, the Mark, when we were in the Mark back in the day, he won the MVP of the conference.
Riley graduated before American rugby turned professional. The only paychecks on offer were for the national team or overseas. So he did what you did then. He took opportunity where it came. Riley's took him to North Carolina with the Southern Pines Rugby Club, and then to Ohio for 1823 and Tiger, before pro rugby and the Aviators.
Seeing where he came from as far as non-rugby to where he went to being a professional rugby player is amazing. To keep that focus for that many years on a club level, working odd jobs, just to keep that dream going, not many people can do that. Not many, it's a tough thing, but that was Shawn. He knew what he wanted, fell in love with the sport.
While many of pros standouts were among the first to sign MLR deals, Riley wasn't immediately coveted. He had to audition.
We did tryouts across the country, and we had 150 people try out, and they all paid $50 to try out for us. And out of all those 150, he was the only one who got an actual contract. I thought so highly of him, and we thought so highly of him that he skipped that academy point and went straight into our full-time squad.
His first year, I don't think he played a single minute, and he literally kept grinding, and then last season, he got in and he tore it up. It's so hard to work through a season and not get any time at all, but he kept at it. I was here with him over the summer. He kept working, and he just had no quit in him at all.
They're unbelievable, character and work ethic. I mean, first class, some of the best I've ever seen. And talk about a positive attitude, and a great guy, and a guy that just, same thing, doesn't complain about not starting or starting, how many minutes. He just keeps on chipping away at it.
Hardest worker on the team, always does his best, always want to get better.
I wish I had been able to grab hold of Shawnee when he was 22. He just turned 30, but he was getting better and better. I honestly believe that this was the year that he was going to take that step. He was, faster and stronger than he'd ever been, jumping out of the gym. His kicking game was there. It was really the 3 years of work, or the 2.5 years of work, was really going to pay off. And, I honestly believe he's definitely, a starter in this league, and I think he had opportunities and potential to go even higher than that.
Riley's passing leaves a void of speed, power, and skill on the pitch, but it's what he brought to the locker room that NOLA will miss the most.
He gives you energy. He gives a good vibe off that makes you feel energetic, makes you want to get better. Even if you have an off day or something, coming to practice and seeing him just enjoying it so much, being in this environment, and then just enjoying where he's been and where he's come from and where he's at right now. He always enjoyed every moment of it.
Walks into a room and he'll light up a room. You could be having a bad day, and he's like, he'll walk in and smiling. He's like, hey, what's wrong? I'm like, it's just one of those days. He's like, oh, I know, right? It's awesome. We got to wake up today and we get to go do what we love. And he's like, let's make the most of it. And that kind of personality and behavior just will change your mood completely.
He was always smiling, and he was absolutely one of the most resilient, hardworking people I know.
Just his work ethic. He wasn't getting a ton of time, but he was the hardest working guy trying to get that opportunity, and he got those opportunities and did really well. He was a guy that stayed around here all year in the off season because he believed that he needed to be here with us all year round to get better. He missed selection for one reason or another, and he was always bouncing around and ready to go. Always had a smile on his face, and he was such a good dude, man.
Hopefully, we can use, kind of what he embodied, bring that energy every day and the positivity, and embody that with everything we do this year.
So I think this is going to be a tough year for us, but it's going to be a special year for us, and I think it's kind of doing this year for Shawnee from here on out as well.
And it's going to be hard, and we do talk about it as a team, but we talk about doing it for him, and helping him and him helping us, not always being sad about it. And this isn't, it just is hard, and I don't think there's any right or wrong answer here, man. I don't know if I can give you an answer of how we're going to do it. I don't know, but I know that we're determined to win it for him this year.
Sometimes God has different plans for people. I think, great ones are taken, for great ones in different aspects of life. JFK's, Martin Luther King's, you can go on and on. But in our little small world here at Notre Dame and the world of rugby within USA Rugby, I think, he was a symbol of what can be done, with the right attitude and all the good things that rugby has to offer.
American Shaman, a CBD like no other.